Welcome to Fantastic Vision. Please subscribe us before you watch today's video. As a lithography machine manufacturer, ASML is mainly oriented to wafer manufacturing plants and is in the upstream of the semiconductor industry chain, so it generally does not receive attention. However, as the importance of chips increases and the United States begins to restrict lithography machines, ASML will attract attention. Even so, ASML does not seem to have a direct relationship with Huawei. After all, Huawei does not directly manufacture chips. However, recently, ASML's American executives issued a document which specifically mentioned Huawei. What kind of signals did this release? First, the belief that US restrictions would have serious consequences. Although ASML is the global leader in lithography machines, it is also very constrained by the United States. One of the important reasons is that they wanted to obtain EUV technology at that time and agreed to some necessary conditions. EUV technology was originally developed by the EUV Alliance led by Intel. In order to be the first to obtain it, ASML promised to purchase no less than 55% of its accessories from the United States and only enjoy EUV technology in the United States to build factories and R&D centers. Later, ASML built the largest R&D and manufacturing base in the United States as promised, and continued to invest in expansion. This time the article was published by an American executive of ASML, and the translation of the title is, ASML confirms the risk of forcing China to reinvent the wheel. Reinventing the wheel, reinventing the wheel, is a common saying among Americans. The wheel may seem very ordinary, but it is regarded as the oldest and most important invention of mankind. In the history of Western anthropology, the invention of the wheel is considered a leap forward. Reinventing the wheel is actually a humorous way of saying thankless work. However, ASML executives cited reinventing the wheel and were actually pointing out that the US restrictions would have serious consequences. Obviously, this is using the wheel as a metaphor for the lithography machine. Since the wheel was invented, it should serve human beings, not limit its use. If restrictions are imposed, people will naturally have to reinvent the wheel, and things that have been invented are easier to break through. Even the lithography machine is no exception. Although its manufacture is very complicated, the president of ASML also said before that the global laws of physics are the same. If restrictions are imposed blindly, it will only force China to achieve breakthroughs in related technologies as soon as possible. Although reinventing the wheel is thankless, if it is restricted, it is undoubtedly the best way to replace it. Second, Huawei is boldly exploring multiple avenues. The American executive of ASML also specifically mentioned Huawei in the article. He said, with the exploration of various channels, including Huawei, they are trying to copy ASML's approach more or less. Even as it tries to avoid infringing on already existing patented designs, there are bolder avenues, such as turning to graphene. This means that in the face of increasing restrictions in the United States, China has begun to explore various ways in terms of chips. On the one hand, it takes the path of ASML lithography machines, and on the other hand, it explores other ways to bypass lithography machines. As the overlord of the lithography machine industry today, ASML naturally has quite a few patents. In order to avoid being surpassed, it has also established certain patent barriers. According to relevant statistics, China has applied for more than 3,000 lithography patents in ASML. These patents are barriers to the development of lithography machines in China. Because they are not authorized to use them, they need to find ways to bypass or break through by themselves. ASML executives mentioned more or less copying ASML's practice, which means they are developing lithography machine patents. The mention of Huawei is because Huawei is also developing patents on lithography machines and has previously announced related patents. Due to the restrictions imposed by the chip ban, Huawei will naturally look for breakthroughs in various aspects. At present, the overall level of the domestic chip industry chain is not high. If Huawei wants to completely solve the chip problem, it must help build the domestic chip industry chain. In addition to the current lithography machine road, China is still exploring other chip roads that bypass the lithography machine, such as graphene mentioned by ASML executives, using it to replace the current silicon-based chips. Performance improvement and low power consumption indeed is a good direction. The key is that the graphene chip does not use ASML's EUV lithography machine, but it is not yet mass-produced. However, ASML executives have given a good vision. Breakthroughs in high-end demand are increasingly likely, and China is developing faster than expected, potentially moving from concept in the lab to mass production at breakneck speed, he said. ASML executives also said that China has seen signs of improvement in both aspects, including lithography machines, which are very likely to appear this year. Once these situations happen, even the future prospects of ASML this year and next 2 years need to be reassessed. This is probably what the president of ASML is most worried about. So he visited China again after 6 years, and cooperation must be strengthened under restrictions. Therefore, China does not have to worry about the increasingly strict restrictions of the United States, because the greater the pressure, the faster China's breakthrough will be.